Hello and welcome to the recorded webinar on built-in accessibility features for Google Chrome. My name is Rachel Balaban. I'm an assistive technology specialist at Ulster BOCES. And the purpose for today's webinar is to learn about some of the different features that are available on our students' Chromebooks and also in the Chrome web browser that can help students with reading and writing and other accessibility needs. The first thing we're going to take a look at are where to find the accessibility features and how to turn them on a student's Chromebook. So let's take a look at that. To find the accessibility features on your Chromebook, you can click down in the lower right-hand corner on the Systems menu where the time is. Give that a click, and then click on the Settings wheel. Once you're in your system settings, you can type in the search bar, start typing accessibility, and it'll come up down here. This option allows you to show the accessibility options right in the system menu. So if I turn that on, now when I go back down to the lower right-hand corner here, I'll have my accessibility options available right there every time I click it. If we go to Manage Accessibility Features and click it, this is where you can turn on any of these accessibility features on your Chromebook. Okay, so that's where to go to find the accessibility features. So if you have a student that you're working with and you want to show them how to do that, you would instruct them just to go down to that little system menu down here and look for the accessibility features so that they can turn on any of the different tools that I'm about to show you. So first I want to show you how to use a tool that's called Select and Speak, or Select to Speak. And what that allows the Chromebook to do is to read any text out loud to a student, any text that they have captured or highlighted on the screen. So that can be extremely useful for some of our students who have a disability that impacts reading, where they need their text read out loud to them, or some of our students that perhaps have a visual impairment. So let's take a look at how to use Select to Speak.
The first way I can use Select to Speak is to hold down the search key and then use the touchpad or mouse to click and drag a box around the content that I want read aloud. For reference, I like to hold my thumb down on the touchpad and use my index finger to then drag a box. If I just want to read one line aloud, I can hold down search and then just click that line.
Everyone should be able to access and enjoy the web.
I can press Control to stop speech at any time. A second way to use this feature is to use the Select to Speak button that appears in the lower right of the screen when the feature is on. It looks like a little sound icon with audio waves. I can click or tap that button with my finger and then similarly use my touchpad to drag a box, or even use my finger to drag a box if I'm on a touchscreen Chromebook.
Developers and publishers, information and resources to help you develop accessible products and apps.
You can also use this button while Select to Speak is speaking to stop speech. The third way to use Select to Speak is to highlight specific text using my touchpad. Once it's highlighted, I can press Search plus S, as in Select, and then only that text will be read aloud.
Should be able to access.
This can be useful if you want to select very precise text instead of a larger region.
Okay, so that was Select to Speak. You can see how that could be really useful for a lot of our kiddos who struggle with reading. Next, we're going to take a look at some additional built-in accessibility features on the Chromebook. Now let's take a look at some of the other built-in accessibility features available on the Chromebook. I go back to my little accessibility menu, and here I'll see a list of all the features available to me. Let's start by taking a look at dictation. If I click dictation and turn that on, you'll see a little microphone icon docked right down here on the lower right-hand corner of the screen. What dictation allows me to do is to use my voice to dictate text in any program or application that I'm using on my Chromebook. For example, I can dictate an email. When I want to start dictating, I just click the microphone to turn it on and then start speaking my text. Webinar. Hello, welcome to the Chrome Accessibility webinar, period. And now I can use my voice anywhere in any field where I can enter text. Next, let's take a look at high contrast mode. What high contrast does is it's basically going to reverse the contrast on your screen. So it turns it from black on white now to white on black. We'll get out of there. The full screen magnifier zooms in on your full screen. So for students who might have a visual impairment, that can be very helpful, and you just click it to get out of it. The docked magnifier is a little bit different. That just scrolls along your screen and magnifies whatever your arrow is pointing to. We can turn that off. The next feature is called automatic clicks. And what automatic clicks does is it provides this support for somebody who might have difficulty using the touchpad and actually clicking by using the touchpad. So now all they have to do is hover the mouse to either left click, right click, double click, click and drag, scroll, or have no action. So let's set it to double click. And now I can go and hover up here on this tab, and it acts as if I double clicked. I can hover on the thing that I want to activate, and it'll act like I double clicked. So now to turn that off, you just hover and click, and it'll ask you to confirm if you want to turn that off. The on-screen keyboard is a feature that allows students to type using an on-screen keyboard. You can see now the keyboard is docked down here on the lower right-hand corner. So if I click in my document, I now have access to this on-screen keyboard that students can use by clicking on a letter with the touchpad, or if they have a touch screen, they can touch the letters right on the screen. Another feature of the on-screen keyboard is that it comes with built-in word prediction. So as I start to type, I can see my words getting predicted here, and that's a really good tool for some students who might have some issues with spelling or written composition. To get rid of the on-screen keyboard, I just click the little keyboard button down here. Some other options are a large mouse cursor. So that makes my cursor and my arrow and pointer very, very large. Turn that off. I can also highlight the mouse cursor. So now I have this little red circle around my mouse or my pointer. That can be helpful for some students who may visually not be able to track where the cursor is on the screen. I can turn on sticky keys, and what sticky keys does is it allows the user to click a modifier key one time without having to hold it down, and then click a letter to activate. So for example, I can press the shift button one time and release, and you can see that the modifier button I chose was shift. I can type my letter, and it'll capitalize it without having to hold the shift key down and my letter at the same time.
Okay, so those are some additional accessibility features that are built right into the Chromebook that can help students, again, who might have accessibility issues, physical accessibility issues, a visual impairment, or disability that impacts reading or writing. Next, I want to just talk about a couple of things that are built right into the Chrome web browser. So if you have a student who's searching for something using Google, if they're Googling something, they can use what's called the voice search. So they don't have to type into the search bar. If it's a student who has difficulty with spelling, they can press the little microphone button and speak their search term. So for example, if you have a student who might want to research planets, but they don't know how to spell planets and they misspell it as plants, they're going to pull up all this information on plants when they really wanted to have information on planets. So they can click the little microphone button, say planets, and then they'll pull up the information on planets. That's just a quick and easy tool that can help a lot of our students who have difficulty with writing and spelling. And then additionally, on the Chrome web browser itself, you have the ability to zoom in or out. So for some students who might have a visual impairment, that can be really helpful for them to be able to zoom in and out just on the Chrome web browser. So that's just when you're on Google and just searching the web, those tools are available for anybody. Next, we're going to take a look at some Chrome extensions. And what Chrome extensions are there tools that you can add to your Chrome account. And depending on the restrictions based on your district, students and teachers or staff may be able to add their own extensions, or you might have to go through your technology department to add these extensions. And many of them are free, and what they do is they add new features to the Chrome browser, and they work across different websites and apps. How you add an extension is to go to the Chrome Web Store, this link here. So if you click on that, it'll take you to the Chrome Web Store. And then you just click in the search bar what extension you're looking for. So I'll type in Visor. That's one of the ones I'm going to show you. And then if it's something that you haven't added to Chrome yet, you would just click on Add to Chrome, and it'll take you through the steps of how to add it to your Chrome account. And what's nice about extensions are that they work anywhere on any device that you are signed in on. So if you're signed in to your Chrome account on your home computer, you can use it there. If you're signed in on a work computer, you can use them there, and the same for students. They can use these extensions on a school computer, or they can use them on a home computer or Chromebook if they're signed in with their school account, and these extensions have been added to their school account. So they kind of follow you no matter what device you're on. So I'm going to just show you a few extensions that I use a lot with students to help support reading especially. So these first few I'm going to show you are to help kind of with visual support for reading. So let's take a look at some of these.
Let's take a look at some Chrome extensions. Once you're on your web page that you want, you can click on the Chrome extensions that you've added to your Chrome account, and extensions will either make changes to the web page that you're on or allow you to perform a specific function, depending on what that extension does. So let's first take a look at Open Dyslexic. If I click on my little Open Dyslexic extension and I enable it, that's going to change all of the text on my screen to the Open Dyslexic font. And this will work on any web page where there's text. And then I can just click it again to disable it. Next, let's take a look at High Contrast. If I click on High Contrast and enable, it's going to change the contrast on my screen. I have options of yellow on black, inverted grayscale, inverted color, grayscale, or increased contrast. And then I can click on disable to disable it. Next is the Mercury Reader. And what Mercury Reader does is it takes the text on your screen, for example, an article, and it gets rid of all of the distracting advertisements, banners, and just leaves you with a nice clean copy of your article. You have some options in Mercury Reader. You can change the text size, you can change the font, and you can change the contrast. Similar to Mercury Reader is Magic Scroll. If I click on Magic Scroll, that's again going to take away all of the advertisements and distractions, and I have just my article here, and I can scroll through it. The display is a little bit different than Mercury Reader, or I can click on the arrows to scroll through. There are also some settings where you can change the font size or the color scheme. And then click here to return to the original article. Next, let's take a look at Visor. Visor gives you this little reading guide to help you focus as you're reading an article online. I can change the color of the visor or the background color as well.
Okay, now we're going to take a look at another Chrome extension that I use a lot with students, and these are all free, by the way. So either you or your tech department can add these to your account or a staff's account or student's account without charge, but you do want to obviously check with your tech department to make sure that that's allowable. So next we're going to take a look at Claro Read.
Claro Read is a text-to-speech extension that will read any text out loud on your screen. I click on Claro Read, and then I highlight the text that I want to have read out loud.
No one knows chimpanzees like Jane Goodall.
And that was it. Very simple to use. That's why I like Claro Read. There's several other extensions that are text-to-speech tools, but Claro Read I feel is very simple to use. And it also contains word prediction if you're using it while you're typing a document. So finally, I want to just share a link to some additional resources for built-in Chrome accessibility features. So if you want to take a moment and copy down this link, it's bit.ly/ChromeAT. And what that is, I'm going to click on it, and that's going to take me to a Google Doc that I created with some links to additional resources for Google Chrome. This first one takes you to Google's accessibility page where you can learn more about the different features. This next link, Supporting Struggling Learners in Chrome, takes you to a website where it shows you different Chrome tools and extensions that can help with different areas of need: writing, reading, accessibility, vision. This is a link to a graphic with some apps and extensions for learners with dyslexia. And then finally, this is a link back to my slideshow if you want to go back and review my slides. So I want to thank you very much for watching this webinar. And if you have any additional questions, you can always feel free to email me at rbalaban@ulsterboces.org. Thank you very much.